Hey everybody, welcome back to Brainiac Baseball's 1982 Detroit Tigers season replay. Today's matchup is between the Detroit Tigers and the Toronto Blue Jays at Exhibition Stadium. On the mound for Detroit is Jack Morris, whose record is 1-0 with a 0 ERA. And pitching for the Toronto Blue Jays is Dave Stieb, whose record is 0-1 with a 10.38 ERA. And so yesterday, I just completely blew it. I did play game number 4 of the series, in which we won 11-3. However, I forgot to jack my headphones in, and so there was no recording of my voice or any of the game effects. So I went into the editing process in order to just do a narration over the video recording. And in the middle of that, it was working fine, and then all of a sudden the program crashed, and I lost the entire video and what little audio recording that I had accomplished. So I completely lost it. Let's take a look at the box score. We won 11-3. It was a really fun game as the Blue Jays got out to an early lead, and then we just started tacking on runs, which included a grand slam home run from Mickey Hatcher, of all people. The bottom of the lineup absolutely crushed it in yesterday's game. Reggie had a great game. Greg Brock went 3 for 4 with that double. Mickey Hatcher went 3 for 4 with the grand slam. And Uger couldn't get out of the third inning. He'd given up 9 hits, I should say, and 3 runs. Didn't strike anybody out. I didn't really want to pull him after 60 pitches. But it was clear that he was struggling, so I brought in Bryn Smith, who, after the day off before the first game of the series, I decided that we were going to go with Jack Morris in Game 5 of the season. So Bryn came out of the bullpen and was really great. He got the win in relief, going 3 1/3 innings with a couple of strikeouts, and then by then the game was out of reach for the Blue Jays, so I brought in Keith Comstock and Tom Hume to wrap it up. There was home runs by Ernie Witt and by Danny Tartabull, both hitting their first home run of the season, and Dave Lemanchuk took the loss. So, Hatcher was the player of the game, and you can see the MVP leaders as we head into today's game. So, before we get started with today's game, I just want to take a moment. I showed yesterday, but of course it did not record. So I wanted to show you real quick the stadium effects for Exhibition Stadium. Let's go ahead and go to Toronto here. So you can see what I did with my mathematical equations here. The park factor for the Blue Jays is 108, so 8% more offense than in other stadiums. That is actually true to what Exhibition Stadium did that year. Home runs by left-handers are plus 3%. Home runs by righties are minus 3%. Hits for lefties and righties are equal at whatever the average rate is. Doubles are plus 14%. Triples are plus 38% over average. Strikeouts are about even. Double plays are less than likely, and errors are 8% more likely. So every time we have a new stadium, I'm just going to show that. Otherwise, I'm sure that, maybe most people won't care, but if you're a Baseball Mogul player, then you're probably going to want to at least have a general idea of how the changes that I've made to the league might affect the overall gameplay. And we did have a slugfest yesterday with that 11-3 victory. So we'll see if there's more offense today as Jack Morris takes them out. Of course, he threw that shutout, 2-hit shutout in the home opener for Detroit. All the bullpen is available today. Our lineup versus the righty Dave Stieb, one of my favorite pitchers of the 80s. It's our standard everyday lineup, same lineup as yesterday. As you can see, the batting average has jumped up since our home series. And let's go ahead and do the official Tigers lineup rundown. Batting leadoff and playing left field is Kirk Gibson. There we go. Batting second in center field is Rickey Henderson. Batting third at shortstop is Alan Trammell. Batting cleanup in right field is Andre Dawson. Batting fifth and DHing is Reggie Jackson. Batting sixth and catching is Lance Parrish. Batting seventh at first base is Greg Brock. Batting eighth at third base is Mickey Hatcher. And batting ninth at second base is Sweet Lou Whitaker. Take a look at Dave Stieb. Had a pretty rough first start of this season. We'll take a look at his log. First time we've looked at a log this season. He went 97 pitches, went 4 1/3 innings. He gave up 9 total runs, 5 were earned, 6 hits, 5 walks. Very unlike Dave Stieb. Says his fastball maxes out at 89 miles an hour. His personal catcher is Ernie Witt, who is playing in this game. He's got 5 pitches, with the slider being his best pitch, followed by his sinking fastball, and then 3 very below average pitches, the 4-seamer, curve, and changeup. So that's what we have to look forward to today from Dave Stieb, who's only 24 years old. Probably should have been the Cy Young Award winner this season. And next time we see Dave Stieb, I'll tell you about how he was robbed from the Cy Young Award by Pete Vukovich. Taking a look at the Toronto Blue Jays defensive alignment here. They don't have any Gold Glove Award winners in the field. And here is Kirk Gibson leading off against Dave Stieb, 2 for 9 with 3 walks against Stieb in his career. And he strikes out Gibby off to a rough start. 1 down. Here is Rickey Henderson. Ground ball to second, and Henderson is tossed out by Garth Orange. So 2 down for Alan Trammell. And Trammell hits a fly ball to Tartabull out there in center field with that 65 defensive rating. He makes the play, and we go to the bottom of the first. Here is the lineup for the Toronto Blue Jays. Batting leadoff and playing right field is Lynn Jones. Batting second at first base is Tim Corcoran. Batting third and DHing is Warren Cromartie. Batting cleanup in center field is Danny Tartabull. Batting fifth and catching is Ernie Witt. Batting sixth in left field is Al Woods. Batting seventh at third base is Paul Dade. Batting eighth at shortstop is Steve Davis. And batting ninth at second base is Garth Orange. Here's Jack. Looking good. First start of the year was a complete game shutout, as I mentioned. So he's 1-0 with 9 Ks. Only gave up 2 hits, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, coming off that 10-5 season with the sub-4 ERA. So you can't have much of a better start than a complete game shutout. We'll see what he's got in store today as you look at the Tigers' defensive alignment, with the Tigers having 2 Gold Glovers. Rickey Henderson out in center field, and at second base is Sweet Lou Whitaker, noted with the Gold Glove right there on their baseball card. So, okay, here we go. Lynn Jones leading off. You see him in the 1982 Detroit Tigers baseball card. That's because he was on our 1982 team in real life. And he starts it off with a base hit into the right center field gap that gets to the wall, and he has himself a leadoff double. So Morris gives up a hit to the first batter. Next up is Tim Corcoran, former Detroit Tiger as well. And Corcoran hits a high fly ball to Rickey in center. Will Jones tag? He does not. So Jones holds at second base. That's going to bring up Warren Cromartie, batted .331 last year in limited duty against right-handed pitchers. And Cromartie hits a blooper into right center field, caught by Dawson, and Jones will not tag on that fly ball. So we go to Danny Tartabull, who had a home run yesterday. Again, he's only 19 years old in this game, which is why he's represented by the minor league baseball card. And a wild pitch by Morris moves Jones to third. So he is 90 feet away. as Tartabull hits a grounder to second, and Whittaker tosses out Tartabull to end the first. So we go to the top of the second, no score, with Andre Dawson, Reggie Jackson, and Lance Parrish due up. Got some heavy hitters. Dawson off to a fantastic start for Detroit as he lines out to center field. One down. That's going to bring us to Reggie Jackson, who's 2 for 17 against Stieb with 4 Ks. He flips it into left center field. Caught on the run by Woods. That's 2 down now for Lance Parrish. And Parrish strikes out. He has struck out quite a bit already this year. 6 Ks in his 5th game. Okay, so we go to the bottom of the second. Here's Ernie Witt leading off. Detroit native, and Morris walks Witt. So the lead base runner is on once again as Al Woods steps in. And Woods pops it up into foul ground on the first base side. Brock makes the play. There's 1 down. Let's turn 2 here as Paul Dade steps in, and Morris walks him. All fastballs, all in the 90s. Maybe Morris should change it up here a little bit. Runners on first and second with 1 down. And then he strikes out Steve Davis for the second out. That's Morris's first K for today. It's going to bring up number 9 hitter Garth Orange, who hits a sharp ground ball to Lou, and Whittaker tosses him out. So the game remains scoreless as we go to the top of the third. Brock, Hatcher, and Whittaker due up. These were the heroes from yesterday's game. As Brock hits a line drive right at the third baseman, and Dave spears it for the first out. So Mickey Hatcher's up. This guy, I didn't have high hopes for. He did win the job out of spring training with that grand slam yesterday. He really showed me something. Of course, he strikes out here. 3rd strikeout for Dave Stieb. So 2 down for Sweet Lou, and Lou Jackson, is that going to be gone? Get out of here. Oh, it's going to die right at the fence. Caught by the right fielder, Lynn Jones. So I thought Whittaker had our first home run of the game, but instead it's caught on the warning track. We go to the bottom of the third with Lynn Jones leading off. Jones hits a grounder to Whittaker, 1 down. Next up is Tim Corcoran, 1 for 13 against Jack. And Corcoran pops it to third. 2 down. And Warren Cromartie hits a high pop-up to Trammell into short left field, and the play is made for the 3rd out. So we're going to the top of the 4th. Not a lot going on. Game was moving along as Kirk Gibson steps in. Tigers still looking for their first hit as Gibby grounds out to short. 1 down for Rickey. Rickey popping it up on the infield. Henderson still does not have a stolen base this year as his batting average falls to 150. 2 down for Trammell. There's our first hit as Trammell ropes it into left center field all the way to the wall, and Trammell has himself a double. So runner in scoring position for Andre Dawson. He's been pretty clutch so far this year, and he pops it up on the infield. So we're going to strand that runner at second base, and we go to the bottom of the 4th with Danny Tartabull, Ernie Witt, and Al Woods due up. Here's Tartabull leading off the inning, and he strikes out. 2 Ks for Morris. 1 down for Ernie Witt. Witt walks. I know I've mentioned this quite a bit over the seasons that we've played, especially against Toronto, but Ernie Witt was a Tiger killer in real life as Woods pops it up. One of these days I'll actually look up his actual numbers, but I can remember multiple times Witt walking off with home runs and game-winning RBIs as Dade grounds out to second. And another quick inning for Morris. We go to the top of the fifth. Each team only has one hit so far as Reggie steps in, and he crushes it into right field down the line to the wall, and Reggie has his second double of the season. And he's leading the team with a .417 batting average. So leadoff man is on. We're going to have Parrish try to hit to the right side, move Reggie along. He gets the job done. In fact, it's a base hit into center field, and Reggie scores. 1-0 Detroit as Parrish gets his first RBI of the season. Runner on first for Greg Brock. Brock batting .308. And Stieb walks Brock. So there's still nobody out for Mickey Hatcher. Chance here for Hatcher to add to his legendary 1982 season. Base hit to right field. Parrish scores. Brock takes third, and it is 2-0. Mickey Hatcher, shockingly good. Okay, we're going to hit and run with Lou. His contact rate is pretty good, and he's got a great eye, so he'll stay out of the double play for sure. Maybe we'll drive in another run. Ground ball to short. That should score Brock. It does. And Hatcher was moving on the play, so he is safe at second. It's 3-0 Detroit. One down. Gibby's up next. I'd like to see Gibby get going. There we go. Base hit into left center field. A triple for Gibson. And it's 4-0 Detroit. Stieb at 59 pitches. He is off to a terrible, terrible start. So we have Gibby on first. Let's see if we can get Henderson to at least hit it to the outfield. Nope, ground ball to short. Will Gibby score? He does. He was moving on the play. And that's an RBI for Henderson. It's 5-0 Detroit. So 2 down now for Tram, and Trammell will ground out to second base as Orange tosses him out. So we put a 5 spot on the board. It's 5-0. Morris only giving up one hit today. As Steve Davis steps in, is that going to fall in for a single? No, it will be caught by Henderson on the run. Nice play by Rickey. There's one down. Garth Orange up next. And Orange hits a fly ball to center. There's the second out. It's going to leave it up to Lynn Jones to get something going. Ground ball to Hatcher at third. Hatcher tosses him out. Nicely done. All right, so we're going to the top of the sixth. Andre Dawson leading off. Dawson, Jackson, and Parrish. And Dawson crushes his first dong for Detroit. 422 feet. And it's 6-0 Tigers. I feel kind of bad for Dave Stieb. He's definitely not going to win the Cy Young this year. As Jackson gets a base hit through the right side. Mr. October is Mr. April. 7 hits for the Tigers. Lance Parrish stepping up to face Stieb, and he strikes out. 4 Ks for Dave Stieb. One down now for Greg Brock, and Brock popping it up into foul ground on the third base side. Who makes the play? It's going to be the third baseman, Paul Dade. So 2 down. Reggie still on first for Mickey Hatcher. Hatcher 1 for 2 on the day. And he shoots it into left center field. That gets to the wall. And Hatcher has himself a triple. Another hit, another RBI, and it is 7-0 Detroit. I hope our offense is consistently good all year as Whittaker lines out to short. Oh, it's going to be dropped by the shortstop Davis. And Whittaker's safe at first, and another run scores. 8-0. Steve's still in there. He's given up 8 runs. 7 are earned. And the inning continues as Gibby steps in with a base hit up the middle. Whitaker stops at second base. It's going to give Rickey Henderson a chance here to drive in some runs with 2 down. And a base hit to right field. Whitaker should score. He does. Gibson takes third. And it is 9-0. That's 20 runs in 2 games for Detroit. And we are only in the 6th inning. We're keeping Stieb in there. They don't have a very good bullpen, that's for sure. As Trammell grounds out to Davis, and that'll do it for the top of the 6th. Let's take a look at the in-game stats. Player of the game so far, probably a tough call, but maybe it's going to be Hatcher. Back-to-back games, 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs. Let's take a look here as Corcoran is up. We have Corcoran, Cromartie, and Danny Tartabull. Still only 1 hit for, there's an infield single for Toronto. So yeah, I jinxed it once again as Corcoran is safe at first. Warren Cromartie up next. And he jacks it for a home run. All right. I had that coming as Morris gives up his first run. So what he went 14 innings before he gave up his first run of the season. So nobody out still with Danny Tartabull stepping in. And there's a base hit through the right side. So 3 consecutive hits. And Morris losing his stuff here. There we go. Ground ball by Whitt to first. Well, it should have been a double play. Instead, Brock steps on first base. So 1 down. Tartabull standing on second for Al Woods. And Woods hits a fly ball to center that Henderson catches for the 2nd out. 2 down now for Paul Dade. Dade 0 for 1 with a walk today, and he strikes out. So the damage is done. 2-run shot by Cromartie, his first on the season. And we go to the top of the 7th. Andre Dawson leading off. He gets a home run today as Stieb sits at 97 pitches. And another hit given up by Stieb. That is his 11th. Do we want to go for 2? It's a 50-50 shot. And Al Woods has a poor arm. We're up a bunch, but let's say yes. Why not? 50-50. He's out. Of course. 50-50 is like 10% really in this game. As Reggie is up at the plate now. He's 2 for 3 on the day. And he strikes out looking. 5 Ks for Stieb. 2 down now for Parrish. And Parrish gets a base hit to right. His 2nd hit of the day. Runner on first for Greg Brock. One of 2 Tigers without a hit. And there's his base hit to left. Stieb officially tired. They're still not taking him out after 13 hits and 9 runs. Questionable managing here by the Blue Jays. And then Hatcher steps up and hits a ground ball to second. So we are going to the bottom of the 7th. 9-2 Detroit. We have Davis, Orange, and Jones due up, all righties. Davis hits a fly ball to deep right center field. Caught by Dawson. 1 down. Garth Orange up next. Oh, he pulls it for ball 4. 4 straight pitches, too. That's the 4th walk by Morris. This might be the last batter for Jack as he faces Lynn Jones. Jones, that's going to be a bloop base hit. Yep, falls in for a single. And that'll do it for Morris. Right around 100 pitches today. We're going to bring in a lefty to face Tim Corcoran. That lefty's going to be Dave Rucker. Whoops. Who's off to a pretty solid start. Take a look at Rucker. His 3rd game. 1-0 with 3 innings pitched. Got a couple strikeouts, a couple walks. He dominates versus lefties. And Tim Corcoran bats 148 versus lefties. We'll give up that run for an opportunity to turn 2 here. Corcoran instead gets a base hit to right. That's the first hit against Rucker this year. And it's 9-3. That run will be tacked on to Morris's total. Warren Cromartie up next. Cromartie hits a ground ball to first. And the only play was a force at second. So 2 down now, first and third. And Rucker's going to have to contend with Tartabull, a righty. Only batted 185 versus lefties last year. There's 2 lefties coming up. We're not going to intentionally walk him. We're going to try to pitch to him. And a ground ball to second. Whittaker makes the play. Blue Jays get a run, and it's 9-3 now as they keep Stieb in the game at 116 pitches. Sweet Lou will lead off. Ground ball to short. There's 1 out. Next up is Gibby. Gibby 2 for 4 on the day with a ribby. And he hits a line drive to left, caught by Woods for the second out. Next up is Rickey Henderson. Henderson, line drive past the second baseman Orange for a base hit. Now we're up 6 runs in the 8th, so stealing would be against one of those unwritten rules of baseball. I would love to get Henderson on the board, though. What is his percentage? Let's see. I mean, 78%. 75 is great. But it's just the wrong time to do it. Trammell 4 for 25. He's got 25 at bats against Dave Stieb. You can let him swing away, and a line drive to second base. Henderson gets. Oh, there was already 2 outs. I thought he was going to get picked off first. But that's the third out. We go to the bottom of the 8th. We're going to leave Rucker in there with a 6-run lead to face Whitt and Woods, and then we'll bring in one of the mop-up pitchers, maybe Patterson, I guess. So Whitt leads off the bottom of the 8th with a ground ball to Hatcher, third. There's 1 down. Al Woods next, batting 185 last year against lefties, strikes out swinging. And that's going to do it for Rucker. Great job by Rucker. Here is Dave Patterson. At this point, he might just close out the game as he steps up, Paul Dade steps up against Dave Patterson and strikes out looking. Okay, 9th inning. Stieb, I mean, come on, 126 pitches, unbelievable, 14 hits. He strikes out Dawson for his 6K on the day. Next up is Reggie. Reggie 2 for 4. Ground ball to first. And there's the second out. That's going to leave it up to Parrish. And Parrish walks. So Lance is on first for Greg Brock. Brock shoots it to left on a line, and it will be caught by Woods. And that ends the inning for the Tigers. So we go to the last 3 outs of the 9th here. We're going to keep Patterson in there. Steve Davis leads off the bottom of the 9th. Fly ball into left center field. That should be caught. It is. Gibby makes the play. 1 down. Here's Garth Orange. Orange popping it straight up. Play is made by Lance. 2 down. And this is it. Lynn Jones, 2 outs here in the 9th. Ground ball to short. Trammell, iffy proposition. He makes the play. And the Tigers win 9-3. Handshakes, butt slaps all around. That's 5-0 to start the season. I never would have thought we would have swept the Yankees. I believe we are a better team than the Blue Jays, that's for sure. And here we are at 5-0. Take a look at the standings real quick. Milwaukee 0-6. They are by far the worst team in the American League. Boston in second, 1 game back at 4-0. California off to a 5-1 start. Out of curiosity, we'll take a look at the National League. St. Louis, no surprise. And Atlanta, the early leaders in the West. Any transactions today? Yeah, Minnesota is going to give Art Howe a 1-year extension. Oh, no, he signed as a free agent, actually. Is Art Howe on the Major League roster? He is. So the 34-year-old, 35-year-old, he didn't even play last year. He's 35 years old, and he's going to be on the roster for the Twinkies. Interesting decision there. Let's pull up the box score and get out of here. Who's the player of the game? Is it going to be Hatcher again? Let's take a look here and see who did what. Hatcher 2 for 4, 2 runs scored, 2 RBIs. Did anyone do better than that? I guess Dawson did hit a home run. It was inconsequential, though. Hatcher had a triple. Wow, that's pretty. 5 extra base hits. We're going to give it to Hatcher. That's going to be back-to-back player of the games for Mickey. Morris gets another win. Not as good as his opening day start, but he's 2-0. 6 1/3 innings, 4 walks, 3 strikeouts. Never like to see that. He gives up 5 hits and 3 runs. Bullpen comes in and does a bang-up job. Stieb might want to talk to his manager after today's game. 9 innings pitched, complete game, 14 hits, 9 runs, 7 earned. He did have 6 Ks. He gave up the long ball to Dawson. And looks like the offense for the Blue Jays was just the top half of the lineup. All right, that's going to do it for today. Thanks for watching, everybody. Like and or subscribe if you enjoyed this content. We're going to come back tomorrow with Game 3 of the 3-game series from Toronto. Until then, everyone, have a great day.